It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
It's that time for a weekly cup of coffee, and I'm smiling because the Bills are still alive in the NFL playoffs.
Yes, they are, and looking good, too.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that if time allows, but hey, we got Ozark Law star, Mark Kordula, Sergeant with the Lake Ozark Police Department. You didn't get a chance to watch it, but he was like half of the first episode.
I saw the commercials for it, the 30-second, and he looked really good. He looked very natural in that. He looks a lot like me. He's ripped, you know, he's got big muscles and stuff like that.
Sure, you guys, it's uncanny,
Yeah,
the
I like
resemblance.
that, you know, yeah.
No doubt. So we've also got some follow-up from Presiding Commissioner Skelton. Remember, remove the camera, the ongoing investigation. We have a House bill being filed by Representative Vernetti. We'll tell you about, plus some wild local stories, right? A woman who poisoned her husband's Mountain Dew set to go to trial.
With Roundup, right.
Yeah, wild. Lebanon woman, plus murder conviction update from the Lazy Gators murder in 2021. We'll tell you about that, plus really cool project with the local Four Winds Trail. We'll tell you about that and a whole lot more on this week's Cup of Coffee. But first, after the break, it's going to be Sergeant Kordula with the LOPD.
The Lake of the Ozarks is chill, calm, collected. 4th of July hits. It's a whole new animal.
705 Miller, motorist ran out of fuel.
It's a small crew.
Love you, bye.
It's very important that we're approachable. We can do that in a respectful way.
Appreciate your cooperation. Thank you so much, man.
We get a lot of burglaries and thefts.
Please make yourself known.
We're ready for summer. Things get out of hand.
Yeah.
It's go time.
Ozark Law premieres Wednesday, January 8th at 10 on a crime and investigation only on A&E.
Of course, most of us have already watched, you know, at least episode 1, maybe episode 2, depending on when you're checking this out. Ozark Law I'm talking about, and the star, really, of the first episode, my buddy, he's Sergeant with Lake Ozark PD, Mark Kordula. And Sergeant Kordula, man, what's going on? It's hard to get your time anymore, especially after the last couple of weeks.
Oh, no, I appreciate you having me on. It's been a blast. It definitely has.
So I want to ask, get right into it. Ozark Law, you guys filmed over last year, and here we are, hard to believe, already into 25, and the series has debuted. Episode 1, again, maybe episode 2, it airs Wednesday tonight if you're just watching, and if you've watched later, of course, you go back and watch that. But I want to know, what's the feedback been like for you in the department?
It's been great feedback. I mean, obviously, you're going to have a couple of negative feedbacks, but for a majority of it, it's been great. They love to see how law enforcement's more laid back around here. They're very personable with people, so it's been a really good feedback.
Yeah, and so many people watched. I saw, whether it's Lake Erie Happenings or some of the Facebook groups and pages, just everybody had something and was watching. And I thought it really shed light on just how personable and approachable you guys in Osage Beach are. So I want to ask, what was the filming experience like last summer, leading up to all of this?
Obviously, the first week and a half, it's kind of awkward. We don't know each other. They're in your car. It's almost like a ride along, including the team that came down, which was an amazing team. They didn't know each other. This is the first time they're working, so it's just sitting there. You're kind of trying to be almost robotic. It's just nature. You go from being relaxed to stiff. And then after about a week and a half, it was the friendships were building up, and it just became a family. It really did.
That's neat, and I'm sure a lot of people don't get that type of experience, whether they're on the filming side or in law enforcement. So what was different maybe about your everyday, you know, riding around in your patrol car compared to, hey, now you got a film crew, not only that is filming you, so you want to obviously be professional, practice your P's and Q's, but also keep them safe. I mean, you got to keep them safe in the process. So what was that like?
You know, when they got into it, they said, it's like, we're not here. And it's easier said than done, but they really didn't get into any situations. They told us, no matter what's happening, if people are coming up, let us deal with it. You just continue doing what you're doing. And for the most part, it did. I mean, I think there was one time when somebody tried to grab the camera. Obviously, that's we'd step in for that. But other than that, I mean, they were in the background. They never hindered our ability to do our job and do it accurately.
Do you think people maybe are more accustomed to it when you're getting stopped? You're either scared or you're guilty, like, one of the two. And so is it different for those people? Did you get any reactions from like, hey, why is there a film crew? Like, what is happening? I'm not consenting to this. Did you get any of that?
A little bit. Most people were like, oh, is this cops? Is this, no, it's not. It's a documentary. Oh, is this live PD? No. So it was a lot of questions. A lot of people were good about it. Obviously, if you see their face, they signed off on it. So they signed the rights to put their face on TV. But for the most part, I'd say most people were welcoming of it.
Sure. Okay, so are there going to be any encounters that are left out maybe of the actual 10 episodes, or do you think most of what happened during the filming will make the final cut?
I don't know. Unfortunately, I didn't have the luxury of watching every single episode, so I don't know. They made sure that whatever you guys are watching, we're watching also for the first time. So it's kind of exciting for both of us. I mean, we knew what happened. We just don't know what made it, what didn't make it, how much of it. Obviously, like on the first episode, the traffic stop that I did was about 20 minutes. So obviously they can't do 20 minutes, so they cut it down. But so you never know what's going to make it.
And you don't really know what you look like while you're working, correct? So even though you knew there was a camera.
I think the mascara, that made more TV time than I think me, just rolling across that I forgot to take off the vehicle. So you just never know.
I now remember the mascara they left. That's great. All right, so maybe your favorite part of the project now that the episodes are out there, at least episode 1. What's been your favorite part of this project?
The whole experience. I mean, we are truly blessed. God has given us this opportunity to show everybody what we do, that we're not just robots, that we do like to have a good time out there with people. So the whole thing was just an amazing experience. I can't just pick one. I mean, I'm still in communication with some of these people. We just chit-chat. They sent me a message like, oh, looking good, so give each other a little bit of a hard time. So the whole experience, I literally can't pick one. So
you and the department and a bunch of the locals, you guys had a watch party, and as that's airing, because you hadn't seen, right, episode 1, as that's airing and you're seeing, man, I'm on there a lot. Are your buddies on the department giving you grief and like, man, you're on there?
So to be completely honest, we were watching it, but we were also talking with everybody, thankful that people came down and watched it with us. So I missed a lot of stuff. Obviously, we were a couple of funny moments where we were kind of jabbing at each other. Officer Glasscock, his moment in that. So it was a great time. But I ain't gonna lie, I went home and watched it again because we had Annie and Lucky 8 allowed us to watch it early.
Sure.
So we got to watch it, then be able to make it home and watch it again to see whatever we missed.
Okay, so people out there, I put a post out there to kind of find out, what do people want me to ask, Sergeant Kordula, and they said, hey, so what's your favorite part of your job just overall? Like, what do you love about being in law enforcement the most?
Getting to interact with people from all walks of life. It was funny because when the TV camera crew, they're like, all walks of life here, I'm like, yes, you will see. And after the show, they're like, oh my God, everybody comes here. I'm like, I'm telling you. So you get to learn cultures and all this different stuff and meeting people. And obviously, we get into law enforcement to help people, and I love that. But I also love just learning about people. And that's why we do so much on the strip, talking with people and hanging out and having a good time with them.
That's awesome. All right, so any teasers maybe for upcoming episodes or anything you can give us as far as like, hey, don't miss. I'm sure this will make the cut. This was a good one. Are you even allowed?
No, I don't know, because it might have been good for me, but who knows if it made it in there.
Sure.
So I'd hate to say one thing and then it not be true.
All right, so now before we go, what do you most hope that viewers and our community takes away from this series?
I think as long as it made it on there, actually about how blessed law enforcement is in this community because of you guys. I mean, the overwhelming support we have here it's crazy, and in some communities, some law enforcement agencies don't have that as good as we do here. So hopefully it just shows the outpour of support from our community for law enforcement.
Yeah, and you guys were on full display, and that is who you guys are regularly. I've known Sergeant Kordula from your time on the west side of the lake. Shameless plug for my parents. Chances are this guy loved the burgers.
Definitely.
But always had that approachable feel to you, and so it's really cool this series shows. Yeah, down here at Lake of the Ozarks, we're blessed because we have a great area and great law enforcement. So thank you for being part of that. And hey, don't miss Ozark Law. I cannot wait to go home and watch episode number 2.
Me too. Me too.
All right, that is Sergeant Mark Kordula with the Lake Ozark PD, star of Ozark Law on A&E. We'll be right back on Cup of Coffee.
Hey everybody, it's Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture at the Lake. It's a new year, 2025. Happy New Year. What's that mean? We've got new sales. Sales in every room of the house. Got great financing, 24 months interest-free. If you're going to get a premium bed, we're doing 60 months interest-free. Don't forget, even with the weather, we're delivering the entire lake area. Come see the New Year sale, Slumberland Furniture, where we're bringing happy home.
Yeah, you said that you and Sergeant Kordula looked alike. You sure look just like him.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm almost separated at birth, really, and most of it's the muscles, and the.
Danny DeVito, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, right, twins.
I
Yeah,
love
you
it.
go.
All right, so hey, last week I told you, kind of broke down what I believe to be the situation with Camden County Presiding Commissioner Ike Skelton and removing of the camera. There was a criminal investigation, and I kind of broke that down. Well, Lake Expo since came out with the article, Nathan Bechtold, what I consider to be the greatest writer here at the lake, Liberty or Law Breaking, and kind of broke down. I told you about the Flock Group, right?
Yeah, they're the owners of that device.
Correct,
Right, yeah.
and they have a agreement with the Missouri Department of Public Safety that was started in March of 22. That was accessed by Lake Expo. And the agreement's called the Government Agency Study Agreement. It indicates that it's a year-long study on the efficacy of license plate reading technology, and the document does not stipulate an end date to the camera usage agreement. Now remember, we told you end of the year, January 1st, we was that Presiding Commissioner Skelton had went and taken the camera down. It was out of, against a city ordinance that had been adopted in 24 by the commission. And so what was interesting is Lake Expo got an email from the Missouri State Highway Patrol that said they did get a request from the Camden County Prosecutor's Office to investigate theft of property along Highway 54, and the investigation is active and ongoing. January 3rd, Camden County Prosecutor Rochelle Grosvenor Christensen released a statement that said it's a conflict of interest to investigate the allegations against another elected official of the county, so a special prosecutor would be assigned by the court. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. And, when you look at it at the very beginning, you're thinking, oh, wow, Ike might be in trouble here. But then when you go and look more at the whole story, in January of 24, the Camden County Commissioners passed a county ordinance banning the use of all automated license plate readers, right? And the ordinance stated any automated license plate reader currently in violation of this ordinance shall be immediately removed, right? So it seems like the county and Ike Skelton were justified to do this,
and
right?
we said that last week, right? And that device, they sent letters. They had 30 days, which weren't met. The Missouri State Highway Patrol witnessed Presiding Commissioner Skelton taking those down. And so that's where we're at. Now, what I found interesting was, remember, recently elected Representative Jeff Vernetti has filed House Bill 658 into the 103rd General Assembly. I'm gonna read a couple of things on this, okay?
Okay.
These are amended by adding 2 new sections. No county, city, town, village, municipality, state agency, or other political subdivision of this state that is authorized to issue a notice for a violation of state or local law or regulation. So just kind of putting everybody in the state in this. Are used in this section the following terms mean: automated license plate reader system, capture plate data, and license plate, the same meaning. Kind of breaks that down. So this is like a statewide thing that Representative Vernetti is hoping to introduce to the whole state of Missouri. But that's exactly what his local constituents want based on the ordinance and this. But this is sure to be met with fight back from not only potentially state agencies, but you're certainly thinking this isn't going to be popular with Back the Blue or local law enforcement, as well as state law enforcement. The Missouri State Highway Patrol is the one investigating this. Them and the Drug and Crime Task Force are the ones I would imagine have these contracts with Flock and are going to be utilizing that information. So this is going to be interesting to see the how and where this plays out.
You know, and it's interesting, like everything, you know, there's some good and some bad to this. You know, the idea behind the license plate readers is to help crime fighters fight crime. You know, you got these cameras spread around, you can see more. So if that's just what they used them for, it'd be great. Right?
Right.
And that's what they say they use them for. But these readers have been controversial all across the nation for a long time because they've been abused and misused. They were caught using a license plate reader to track a policeman, a sheriff, was caught tracking his former girlfriend with these license plate readers, right? And then a Dallas school used license plate readers to track people coming onto campus to bar them from entering if they had not complied with getting that very controversial COVID shot, right? I mean, so they're abusing this system, and
those
think
are a couple of great instances where that fear may come from.
Yeah.
We've already seen it.
And that's kind of where the county commissioners in Camden County are coming from. They're saying, hey, you're not using this just for that. You're using it for everything else, and you're gathering information, and you are violating our rights, right? I mean, that's exactly where the commissioners are coming from.
And I'm not so sure that the commission is saying that's what's happening. They are saying we don't want to leave it up to chance.
Yeah.
We care more about the rights of our constituents and our community more than we want to allow and assist local law enforcement or state law enforcement in conducting their business. They're not trying to say they're anti-law enforcement.
No,
and so it'll
not at
be
all.
interesting to see how this plays out. It's unknown whether presiding commissioner Ike Skelton is charged with a crime related to those alleged removal of the license plate reader. Any legal action appears to highlight this conflict between the county ordinance and the DPS's use of those license plate readers within Camden County. And it looks like, according to Lake Expo, they hit the nail on the head when they said the citizens' constitutional rights are at the center.
Yeah.
We'll certainly keep you posted on this.
Well, and this started, you know, as you mentioned earlier, with the Missouri Department of Public Safety and this flock group with these license plate readers, started March of 22. The original agreement was for a year, and that's gone way past a year, right? With no end date in sight. So, I mean, it's a typical governmental thing, which is not necessarily good for our rights.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, a couple of stories. If you remember the murder that happened at Lazy Gators in 2021, according to ABC 17 KMIZ, Vonza Watson was the victim who was shot and killed. Chad Brewer was the one charged with murder. He took a plea deal of manslaughter last September, and he's currently serving 25 years in prison. We told you about that. However, the accomplice, Craig Hopkins, was charged with felony murder, initially took a plea deal, and that took place last week, where he was initially charged with murder. He took a plea deal last week, second-degree assault, pled guilty in connection with the death, that he was accused of being part of the fight that kind of initially started that altercation that preceded the shooting. Well, his guilty plea says he intentionally tried to seriously injure Watson by hitting him. And so his 4-year prison sentence was suspended, and he'll be serving 5 years probation should he violate that probation. Prison time is imminent for him. However, it's worth noting, he kind of started the fight, but he didn't have the gun. He didn't pull the trigger. So to be charged with felony murder, I thought was interesting, even though he only had 4 years initially. So it'll be second-degree assault, and he'll serve that 5-year probation.
Yeah, interesting to see how they plea these things down. You know, it seems like justice sometimes gets watered down, but like you said, the guy that did pull the trigger is in prison for 25 years, or sentenced 25 years.
All right, another local crazy story. Trial set for the Lebanon wife who attempted to murder her husband with the Roundup weed killer. This KRCG update, we told you about this. It was Michelle Peters, right? 47 years old now. June of last year was accused of poisoning her husband, attempting to murder him. Well, her trial has been set. Do you remember this crazy story?
I do not. I do not remember this. This was the first that I kind of saw it, and I was like, are you kidding me? So he gets suspicious. I guess he was probably not feeling well and he couldn't figure out why so he sets up a camera in the garage, catches his wife going out there and grabbing his favorite pop and the Roundup, and then she'd disappear, probably, to pour it into the pop, and then she'd come back and put it away. So, but what really made me laugh was her reason for doing this, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Court documents from June state that Michelle Peters told deputies she was angry at her husband because he did not appreciate the 50th birthday party she threw for him. What the heck?
So yeah, she refused to say that she wanted to kill him, but there was another weird part about this story. He was suspicious and sick, but he continued to drink the Mountain Dew. And then until he reviewed the video and saw her with the Mountain Dew and the Roundup at the same time, that's when he turned that over to Laclede County prosecutors, where she has been held. He was suspicious that she might be after his $500,000 life insurance policy. And when he got sick and told his wife, Michelle Peters, the sweetheart that she is, that he was sick, he said, well, you probably got COVID, stay away from our grandkids. And that was that. So pretty crazy. She did admit to detectives later on, leading up to the trial, that she should have just divorced him. He was selfish. They were having relationship issues. And as you alluded to, the 50th birthday party she threw him, he was super
And that was the straw that broke the camel's back, apparently.
And she did admit to putting chemicals in his Mountain Dew, but not to kill him, just to be spiteful and nasty. She pled not guilty January 7th last week, and her trial is set to begin June 9th of this year. Wow.
Wow is right.
I think that's weird.
Hey.
Gets a little weirder. How about a local homeless couple suing the city of Osage Beach over their panhandling ordinance?
Yeah, interesting. The story made me laugh because they call them an unhoused couple, right? You can't call them homeless because that's not politically correct. An unhoused couple filed a federal lawsuit against City of Osage Beach after a police officer stopped them from begging for money during the summer of 2024, just last year. Jackie and Brittany Pugh are married, and according to their lawsuit, they begged for donations from members of the public and particularly from motorists to get money for essential needs. The lawsuit said that the Pughs were begging for money from drivers in Osage Beach, approached by a police officer. No name on the police officer, just John Doe, right? And in the lawsuit reportedly told them they needed to stop begging or they could be arrested. This went over back and forth for a couple of days, and apparently it rose to this level where we get a federal lawsuit. Is this just another poor use of our legal system for somebody to try to get money, get rich, whatever?
Well, maybe, and I highly doubt that the judge would even take this case. It'll probably be dismissed, but in their petition, they said that their actions did not violate the city code with regards to panhandling. And like you said, the city ordinance of panhandling is what's under question here. It's unconstitutional, they're claiming, under the First and 14th Amendments. And so their claim asks a judge to declare that ordinance unconstitutional and award them damages. A spokesperson from Osage Beach said they're reviewing with legal counsel and have no comment. This according to Maryville Forum. But the poor officer said, hey, I don't think you can do this. Then he went back and he reviewed the city's panhandling ordinance and came back and said, you're in a group of two, so technically you can't do that. They said, okay, we'll split up. And he goes, well, now that I know you're together, I technically can't let you do that. That made them mad. This was summer of this year, and this lawsuit was just handed out. But if you don't have money, to be unhoused, but you do have money for a legal team. That
would be a hard life, wouldn't it? To be homeless and out begging for money and stuff. I would just imagine that is not a good life, right?
Sure.
I mean, why don't you get a job and, I don't
Who knows?
know.
Maybe circumstances.
I'm old-fashioned. But, I smell a lawyer all over that with the, Third and 14th Amendments or whatever it was. Yeah. So.
Sure. Okay, so real quick, we saw the photos on Lake Expo. They were sent to us from Jamie Rutledge with the city of Osage Beach. We had a
Jamie.
patrol car.
Yeah.
Totaled. Did you see that? We had our second round of snow.
Yeah.
Right, was kind of nutty. Friday it got pretty white out. Well, early morning Friday, there was an Osage Beach police officer, patrol car. They were helping another accident on the bridge, Grand Glaze Bridge. Hazard lights, emergency lights were on. The officer was not in the vehicle. Another tractor trailer semi came through and just obliterated that patrol car. What a blessing. The officer was not in the vehicle at the time. Like going back to enter information into the car or just arriving and turning those hazards on. The city has great insurance, no problem. So the patrol car is not a concern. No injuries were reported, and the Missouri State Highway Patrol is investigating the incident. So we'll keep you posted.
There's some scary videos out there, those the icy, especially the icy interstates, like in Colorado and Wyoming, and the trucks just can't stop, and there's a pileup, and they're running into each other. That's some pretty scary stuff, man.
No doubt. All right, so real quick, Trail of the Four Winds Trail here at Lake of the Ozarks, a popular trail at Lake of the Ozarks State Park. They've received a significant upgrade thanks to hard work from the team at the National Civilian Community Corps. NCCC. They've worked 5 weeks, and the team has completed major improvements to all 14 miles of the Trail of Four Winds, including rerouting a section, widening the width and height of parts of the trail, and enhancing areas to create a better user experience and positive environment impact. The team of 8 were deployed in November from the NCCC Southwest region based in Colorado, and their last day of work on the trail was December 13th. Now, the team was awarded to Osage Beach nonprofit Branches for the Lake and the Lake of the Ozark State Park after the agencies partnered to be considered for the program. The Trail of Four Winds is a unique multi-use trail open to hikers, bikers, walkers, and horseback riders. It's divided into north and south loops, providing multiple stunning views of the lake. Now, the team removed over 4,800 pounds of vegetation, actually 4,775 to be exact, cleared more than 16.5 acres of land, and completed 0.38 mile reroute, which proved challenging due to the rocky terrain, which we know about down here at the lake. They removed 6,000 pounds of rock. In addition to working with the trail Monday through Friday, their team volunteered with the Dogwood Animal Shelter at the Animal Shelter and Thrift Store every Saturday during their stay. Margaritaville also was the housing partner to house them, but a lot of work went into this really cool project, and you can go check that out at the Trail of Four Winds
Sounds
trail.
Like those NCCC folks, they were working hard, man. They got a lot done in a short time, and I know you invited them to come on a cup of coffee to talk about it. Just couldn't work out the dates, but kudos. Looks like they did a great job.
Yeah, that's the AmeriCorps NCCC, which is a national service program for young adults. You got to be 18 to 26, and they participate in a 10-month term of service. Members work on a variety of community projects, including disaster response, affordable housing, environmental stewardship. Big shout out to Shree's Pastries working with the Branches for the Lake and all of her teams. So really cool, and you can go check that out there. Lake of the Ozark State Park, Trail of the Four Winds. Really cool. You do, I know you've been walking now in the new year. You guys got to get out to the state park and check that out.
Maybe so, yeah. As soon as I get in better shape where I can actually go out and walk a trail, But yeah, I'm walking definitely over a mile every day. So I'm getting there. I'm getting in better shape, that's for sure. By the way, I've got my own version of the Trail of Four Winds, after I eat at the wrong place or something that night.
That's great. Hey, so listen, update real quick. Our buddy Josh Butterfield, he is a local hero. We did a feature on him last week. Well, right as that started airing, the guy's truck broke down.
Yeah.
Okay, so the community is rallying behind Josh. Over $9,000 have been donated. We're trying to get Josh a new truck. Tons of locals wanted to help, and so we got a spot fund page started, and we're working on blessing Josh Butterfield. And so about $9,000, anything that is given will go directly towards getting him a new truck, getting his truck repaired, replaced, but that'll bless so many others, because you think, oh, Josh is without right now. Well, no, a lot of other people go without when Josh, doesn't have his truck, as crazy as that is. So really cool local effort. And as we look at the snow and the ice, all the craziness we've had, I think we're finally back to normal here as we look at what's happening on Lake TV, thanks to our good buddy Chris Lightco. I met Chris last week, got to meet up with him. Really cool guy, looking forward to a big 25. But I'm pretty sure another one of our good friends, Brad Harrington, is on the Spotlight Show.
Yeah, I got him on the Community Spotlight Show. Of course, he's a Hall of Famer, the Shootout Hall of Famer, so a lot of good stories there. And you tune in for that every day, 9, 3, and 9.
And high school basketball Thursday, if you're catching time, Buffalo, all the way from Buffalo, got Osage, and then Max Creek and Climax Springs, a doubleheader, girls and boys.
Next week, that's right.
All right, that and more. Thanks for watching this week's Cup of Coffee from Slumberland at the Lake.